friends, welcome to this class. So we're going to paint this Christmas tree. That was my daughter's request, to paint a whole bunch of donuts that look like a Christmas tree. Well, I decided to simplify it and use only 3 donuts from the reference image. So I am going to use my masking brush. So try to use a brush you really don't care about, because masking will most likely damage your brush. Frosting here on the cookie. So I'm going to mask these parts. We have this. And after the frosting, we're just going to add some masking to the highlights that we see over the donuts. So I'm dry brushing again with that brush. And that's all I need to do. So my long quill size 2 and wetting all of the donuts together. I'm actually going to use a smaller brush to apply colors because it's pretty small. Alright, so I'm going to grab my round 8, actually golden 1. I am going to grab right away a little bit of quinacridone red and milk-like ratio of these both colors. So it's blue-violet, right? A little maybe more of the blue. There you go, something like this. You don't have to use cobalt blue. You could just go with phthalo blue too if you want to. So just on the right side, that's kind of mainly when I see it. I'm going to clean the brush, and now the same ratio, so kind of like milk-like ratio. Imidazolone yellow and just quinacridone red, very little amount. And let's go for that middle section, but not touch it all the way. And a little bit more of the quin red, I feel like. I'm sorry, the imidazolone yellow, because I feel like I went too far with that. And I need this to be a little lighter, a little more water, so it feels more like a milk-like ratio. I'm gonna slow down. I feel like I'm going a little too fast. So there's my quin red and some of this imidazolone yellow. The middle section feels like I need a little more of that yellow with it. Staying away from that ring area that I was mentioning earlier. And overall, just playing with the colors. Now what I want to grab is imidazolone yellow, raw sienna, and then quinacridone red. So this is my blend, but if you noticed, I try not to blend the colors too much, right? Just a very quick blend overall of the colors. Now you can grab with that same blend. This is my raw sienna, imidazolone yellow, quin red. You can now grab a little bit of burnt sienna too. Let's change the shade of it. Although you really don't need burnt sienna, to be honest. It's just like a, I guess, additional color, but we really don't need it because we are fine with just yellows and red. But it will give us another shade. So this is a good spot. And then here, that's the top. And we applied masking here, so we're just going to be fine there as well. Now what would be good is to grab, with that damp brush actually, a little more of the colors, so more like a cream top, and go through the same areas. And then a second, something else, grab a little bit of the blue-violet with some browns. That's what would help. But first, I'm too focused here. I just want to add a little more. Okay, so now I'm going to show this to you. I'm grabbing cream top, creamy paint. This is my cobalt blue here, creamy quinacridone red, and then how about that burnt sienna that we already grabbed? So these are going to be our shadows, and just on the bottom. On the bottom of this one, and then we have plenty of shadows here, but it needs to be creamy paint, otherwise the paint will spread too much. Very gently. So you could use a smaller brush too. You don't have to go with this large medium-sized brush. You could go with a smaller brush if you feel more comfortable. Now as you're adding shadows, what you will see is that things start to make more sense now, right? That's because of the shadows. So again, this is blue, red, and I grabbed burnt sienna, but you really don't need burnt sienna. You can just grab yellow and quinacridone red. Now I have like shadows here because of that frosting and what a powdered sugar. But I also want to add shadows here. That's exactly underneath the powdered thing. So what else do I need to do? Spread this a little bit. But I need more of that blue violet. I will show this to you because this is like drier paint. I'm trying to grab this drier paint plus that burnt sienna. And I'm gonna look for more areas that need to be shaded. And especially like where we have this masking, you can add in some of these areas the that shade of that red, blue, and brown. So here I have like these kind of folds. Well, it's not folds, but I might as well add some of that color underneath. I don't want to do too much to it. I want to keep it really simple. One thing I need to do is to lift the colors because I lost that ring. So this is my round 2. Normally I lift with the rigger brush, but these brushes are just as good. And I'm gonna lift it right in the middle. So before the paper is too dry, you need to lift, but there's a difference. Sometimes the paper is still too wet. So right before it becomes too damp, that's when you want to lift the colors. So this, the top donut, I should have started here. It's ready for me to lift because it's almost dry. Hi friends, welcome back. I just finished removing masking fluid for watercolors. One more thing I want to do is actually try to remove some of the sketch lines, although I don't have that stick yet. But I'd like to remove some of the sketch lines from the cookie here. Yeah, that feels much better. And then I'll go for this. One last thing I want to do, and to show you how to do it, is to add that shadow underneath the donut. So to do that, I am actually going to wet more than I need. So the shadow is going to go directly underneath the donut. I'm going to use cream top-like ratio between water and paint. It's going to be yellow, blue, red basically. And then I'm going to wet it, but maybe I should grab a larger brush for this. So this is my long quill size 2. I'm always wetting more than I need. And then right underneath the donut. You don't want like puddles of water for sure. So I'm just kind of removing the water. I want to have a lot of control when I'm applying this shadow. I don't want the paint to spread just minimally, like very little. So now I'm going to grab actually some of that, the 3 colors, cream top-like ratio between water and paint of the yellow, blue, and red. Quickly grabbing it on the tip of my brush, going right underneath, but I need way more paint. And the shadow is kind of going like this. So I need way more paint than this. So creamy paint, the yellow, blue, and some of that red. It should be a little more reddish, I'd say, than anything. And it's okay if like you took time diluting colors or preparing the next color variation, because you want this paper to be a little more, not as wet, I'd say. A little more blue, because the shadow feels more bluish. So to apply a shadow like this, you want this to be like a creamy paint, right? So cream top-like ratio between water and paint. And you want to apply colors like closer to the moment when the paper is almost too dry. Grabbing a little more, I'm gonna go with that cream top right underneath the donut. Right underneath. So that's it for my shadows. I'm gonna let this to dry. And just like that, we finished another card. So thank you so much for your time, and please let me know if you have any questions.